Yo, what's good people? Welcome back again to our podcast presentation. Tonight, I have a surprise for all of you, my listeners, my followers, my loyalists. That surprise is I'm bringing on a very good friend, a very dear friend of mine, my brother from another mother, Mr. Juan Rich. As always, I'm your man, Yosef X. And this is Yosef's 2 cents. So, in the meanwhile, sit back, unwind, relax, and let us do what we always do. And that's sit down and reason together. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few moments. All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy to have y'all with us again. On the YouTube side, we got Brother Sam in the house. Good evening to you, sir. Thanks for joining us. Also joining us tonight, we have, as always, Brother Barron and Lady Marla. Good evening to the both of you. Thank you for joining us here tonight. As I said at the outset a few seconds ago, I have a surprise for all of you, my listeners and my followers. And that surprise is I'm bringing on as a guest to interview my dear friend, my brother from another mother, Mr. Juan Rich. Now, I could have told all of you who was going to be on here. I could have, but I figured that the best way to go about this was to use the element of surprise. Because what if I were to make the announcement that he was coming on and then something came up and he was unable to come? So that way I figured that I would use the best element, and the best element to use is indeed the element of surprise. So I want all of you to get your notepads out, because it is certainly going to be a very, very important episode tonight. We're getting ready to talk about some pink elephants in the room. So the reality is, it's time for us to stop shying away from certain truths. So now what I'm getting ready to do is bring on my homeboy here. See if I can bring him on right quick, because he is indeed waiting. I don't know what. This is what I'm going to do. Bring my homeboy on here so you all can bring him on right this second.
What's up, brother?
What's going on, Playboy? How's it going, man?
It's going well, brother. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can y'all hear him? Let me know if y'all can. Let me know if y'all can hear him before we get started with our dialogue tonight. If y'all can hear him, put a 1 in the comment thread. If y'all can hear him, put a number 1 in the comment thread. Or y'all can hear him just a little. All right. This is what I'm gonna do, bro. I'm gonna try something else to hook you back up, and I'm gonna see if I can do that instead. Give me about 10 seconds.
Got you, brother.
All right. Let's see if I can do it like this instead. It's taking a little bit longer than anticipated. Early and good to see you with us tonight. All right, there we go. We got something here.
Yes, sir.
All right. How about that? Can y'all hear him now? Is that better? If y'all can hear him a lot better, put a 1 in the comment thread. We are multi-streaming on YouTube as well as Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
You all can hear him. Put a 1 in the comment thread. All right, we're good. All right, man. How's it going, man? Long time no hear. I hope everything is well with you, man. How have you been?
Dude, I've been crazy busy, brother. Today I took a day off so I can go play basketballs with my, I play basketball with my friends and stuff like that. They're ex-professional athletes, so typically we try to get up at least 2 to 3 times a month and hoop. And plus, you caught me right in the middle of doing events for YouTube anyway. YouTube they sponsored this whole week up at Howard University that I was in on doing the production for. So, yeah. So that's pretty much what I've been up to. I'm trying to get all this production money I can, brother.
Listen, bro, I don't blame you one bit. And this is the perfect time to do it because the weather is starting to get nice again. And these young people are going back to school tomorrow because you know what? This is how much I don't even keep up with anything anymore. I didn't even know these young people even had spring. They were out for spring break. I'm serious, man. I have been busting my ass trying to get things taken care of. I didn't even know these young people were even out for spring break.
Bro, that's crazy. I have to. In my business, I have to know every little idiosyncrasy that goes on between my generation, which is a Gen Xer, and like Gen Z. I have to know all of that stuff. So I know because I have to plan productions around these particular type of events. So,
yeah,
I mean, you're not missing much. We were the same way when we were young and wild and out too. So it's the same thing.
Yeah. But it's good to hear you again, man. This is, like I said, it's been a long time since I've had the pleasure of bringing you on. And every time I have brought you on, not only myself, but all the rest of my listeners and followers have become even more enlightened as well. So once again, bro, I thank you so much for taking the time out of your crazy ass schedule to come on and chop it up with us.
Dude, anything I can do to help people not get caught up in anybody else's delusions, I have no... I would make time out of any nanoseconds of my schedule to go ahead and actually sit down and chop it up with people I respect. Because I consider you more of a brother than I consider you a friend. So, and like I said, I don't typically do podcasts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's my pleasure. It's more my pleasure to sit back and talk to you than it is for anything else.
You know something that speaks volumes, bro, because I've been doing this podcasting thing for almost 6 years. It'll be 6 years officially this coming October 12th. And and you have really enlightened me on a lot of different things, as well as my nephew. And speaking of my nephew, shout out to my nephew Jamari. He's in Florida right now. He lost his grandmother a few days back.
Oh, wow.
So I want to give a shout out to him. I talked to him briefly today. He's doing okay. But one day, as soon as he gets back, I got to spend time with my nephew, man, because he's become more than just a nephew. He's become a brother also, just like you have become my brother, and more so than a friend also.
Yeah, no, dude, please give my condolences to the family. And tell him, like, I lost my grandfather last year. So, tell him that for me personally that whatever wisdom that our ancestors have imparted on us, it's to not only make him better, but it's to make his lineage better. So, yeah, you will always miss him, but eventually you'll go ahead and make peace with it, and then you'll end up becoming what they believe that you could be. So please deliver that to me, to him personally.
I will certainly do that, man. As soon as I see him, as soon as he gets back from Florida, and we have time to get together, because family is so important, and not just. And I don't not only plan to see my nephew soon, but there is also another special person I plan on seeing in the future as well. And she is listening, by the way. She's listening.
Okay.
So
tell her I said what's up.
Lady Marla, my homeboy says what's up, and I will be seeing you soon, ma'am. Now, I wanted to bring you on here, bro, because it is the pink elephant in the room that everybody refuses to address.
Okay.
And it struck me, and it's obviously from one of your posts, talking about how difficult it is to blend families or to be a step anything to a child. My question is, why is it so hard for people to become step parents to other people's children?
Well, first of all, we have to understand that we as humans, we're tribal. And we also have to make ourselves familiar with the concept of familiarity bias. What that is you become attracted to and attached to that which is familiar. So let's say you have a baby, newborn baby. The newborn baby it imprints on the first person it sees, and what it does, it correlates subconsciously as the brain is developing to attach itself or attach oneself to those that look like they do. So typically, you sort of attach yourselves to people that sort of resemble you, and over time it becomes even more concise, and then that becomes the family. So when you see something that actually comes from you, you automatically are going to have an attachment to the young child. It's gonna dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin becomes attached with the child. And then, that's how it starts. But what tends to happen is the newness of somebody that's not a part of that family unit, it naturally, to any person, can be seen as a threat. And that threat, you sort of feel like, hey, I really don't know about this person and so or whatever. So that's what it is. And so there's a lot of built up tension that comes from that, because we're taught in our society to sort of be Christianly and be loving and be all this other stuff. And that sounds good in the Bible, but in practical application, humans are going to be humans. So we see the other than our genetics as a threat. We see other than our family unit or our tribe as a threat. So that's one of the main reasons, because people's different genetic proclivities are different. Like, I've recently learned that people aren't good or evil. People are what their genetic expression is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be your genetic proclivities.
Right.
So if your genetic proclivities teach you to mistreat those that are close to you, that's not a sort of good, a moralistic type of situation. It's a genetic thing, which is why I have recently sat back and actually have come to the conclusion that, yeah, people can't help themselves. They just can't help themselves. They can only express what their genetics allows them to express. So that's what that is, brother. We become familiar with those and we become attached and we become very jealous of those that are like us. And anything that isn't like us, we just don't like it. Whether it's a guy coming into a situation where somebody has a child, or vice versa, or any other situation. Nobody wants to talk about it, but that's the truth. It's why you have a lot of abuse amongst the step parents and step kids situation. So that's sort of what that is.
Man, that speaks volumes because, I mean, we all know for a fact that stories of step parents being abusive to their stepchildren, it's sad to say, but it's really, really commonplace. I mean, it's devastating. And I was always wondering in the back of my mind, why is it that we hear about stories of people being so abusive to their children? Rarely do we find step parents getting along with their stepchildren. Rarely. It's a rarity.
Yeah. It's we as hominids and as mammals. Think about it. Bears kill the new cub. A bear likes a female bear. It kills the cub. A lion comes around and he sees a lioness and gives off a certain scent, and if she's in heat, it's going to kill her cubs. She sort of goes through a little bit of withdrawal of the children, and then he procreates. It's a mammal. It's a mammalistic type of thing. It's not we have to accept that we're humans on that level. Now we have the ability to supersede, well, some of us have the ability to supersede that. And case in point, me and you, we have a friendship here. You're not part of my genetics.
Right.
But we're able to come online and actually connect philosophically.
Right.
We're not online just, we're not online just bullshitting and pontificating. No, we're actually having a legitimate conversation.
Right.
So that's really what that is, brother. It's once you understand that humans are tribal, then you can sort of ask yourself, all right, cool. If this is, am I able to deal with somebody that had kids? And some of us are, depending on the situation.
Right.
But if you really did feel within yourself that you can't, then there's way more single people without kids than there are with kids.
That's true.
Depends on what community we're talking about. Let me preface it with that, though.
Yeah. To your point, do you think with the differences of genetics is why the stepmother or stepfather will try to weaponize that child, that quote unquote outsider, that child will try to make them less than their mother or their father, will try to change them of sorts foolishly?
It all depends on the genetic proclivities. You see, I don't believe in broad stroking. It all depends on the genetics of the person. So yes, in some situations, you're spot on. In other situations, not so much. In other situations, the person just made a dumb decision as a child and they had a kid. And it's not that they don't have the genetic proclivities to actually, if the person chose right, and the two people were just too young and too immature, but they still have the genetics that actually has the ability to be aware, then going into a situation like that, it works. Statistically speaking, that's not a lot of people. So it is the most logical situation is to avoid the situation altogether. And then that's where you have to look at the self-esteem of the person that's getting into the situation. Because why would you purposely get into something that's going to make your situation difficult?
Right. Only an idiot would do such a
Hopefully that
thing.
answers your question.
Yeah. I said only an idiot would do something like that has a proclivity for abuse and misery.
Exactly. But we're humans, bro. We're humans. We do stupid stuff all the time, bro. So yeah, we can. Some of us can talk big on the internet, but we still go home and do. Yeah, you know, I'm supposed to eat right, but most other people will go home and still go to McDonald's. So.
Yeah, that's true. Right. Let me pause for just a second and read some of your observations right quick. On the YouTube side, Brother Sam says jealousy is demonic and it has a lot to do with the mother. On the Facebook side, Brother Barron says the mother of the child plays a big part in the actions and attitude of the relationship of both of them. What do you say on that, bro?
I mean, it depends on how you define something being demonic. You know, when people say something is demonic, I mean, like, well, let me put this out here. I'm not necessarily a believer. So with me, I have to deal with what is. I don't deal with the metaphysics. I deal with, I went to school to, you know, double major, was media arts and psychology, both double major. I'm not, you know, my grandfather and most of my family were in the clergy. We're pastors and things and gospel singers and all that. But I'm not necessarily a believer. At the same time, everything boils down to genetics. Sorry, I don't care what you say. If you have somebody over here who has a genetic proclivity in their family to make bad decisions when it comes to mating, and you got somebody on the other side, the guy she gets with has similar genetic proclivities, the child is almost statistically inclined to go with what its nature and genetics tells it to do, especially if the child is in a culture that doesn't teach these people to be aware of themselves first. So yes, to some people, being demonic means that it's evil, but humans are savages at times. Indeed. And a lot of us don't want to accept that. We try living high, being high and mighty. No. How many petty things have we done?
Countless.
Right.
Countless.
I mean, but I'm just saying, the people that are listening, how many petty things have you done? And then instead of blaming the enemy, how about you look at your genetics and say, what is it in my genetics that tells me to go ahead and self-sabotage? You see? So, you know, that's what I think about that. Yeah, you know, I hear that, but that's one interpretation of it.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. In terms, because you've already broken, well, you didn't break the ice, you shattered it. But when it comes down to stepbrothers and stepsisters, when it comes down to that scenario, is that also the reason why all of those that are whole brothers and whole sisters stick together? Meanwhile, that half brother and that half sister is acting as if you know, you're an outsider, you're an intruder, all that kind of thing. Daniel P, what's going on, bro? Thanks for joining us tonight. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, dude, humans are territorial and tribal, bro. That's what we are. Humans are territorial and tribal. If you're not, and we're very hierarchical and we're very shady when it comes to these type of things. So if that is a patriarch of the family, and my dad is with my mom, of course, I'm going to use it to my advantage, because you know why? In my own mind, I think I'm the baddest one. So I'm going to mistreat Now, it's not like it's a conscious thought. It's an immature type of thought. And some of us, when we're young, we're all hormones and shit. So of course we're going to mistreat the one that's, oh, you're only a half breed. You see, you're a half one of us. Yeah, give so and so and so and so the scraps. You see, so of course you get that, but the parents never actually think of things from that position, because all we see is the Brady Bunch. But the Brady Bunch is a bunch of bullshit. Because typically, when you have them type of situations, it becomes all out war in the household. Mistreating this type of person, mean things, buttering. I've seen people butter the floor and record that person. You know, record the black sheep of the family busting their head on the ground, or putting saran wrap on the toilet. So knowing that that's their bathroom, they go and they got to take, they got to do a number 2, and you got saran wrap on your toilet. You're gonna be pissed. It's right. Those type of small things that eat away at the self-esteem of the person that came from the divorce situation that their father or their mother was in. So of course, every time it becomes violent, and sometimes it becomes very vicious. But don't let no outsider of that household come in there and try to do anything to the person that they just mistreated. Because then, if you're the other of the other, you're the outsider, then I'm going to be you can't beat up on my victim. Understand?
Gotcha.
Because that's my victim, not your victim. So you can't beat him up. I get to beat him up, not you. That's how we are as humans, brother.
Speaking of which, it reminded me of something that that you said some time ago. The popular television show, Game of Thrones. The way you broke that down, I don't watch TV, but I do know of certain shows that's very popular. And that's one of the shows. Right. And the way you broke it down one day is almost as if people live vicariously through those characters. Could you explain that just a little bit more? Am I spot on when I said that people live vicariously through these characters, not just in the Game of Thrones, but in television itself?
Of course, it's called a simulacrum. The guy named John Baudrillard came up with the concept of a simulacra. What you call the Matrix, he called it simulacra. Everything with humans is some type of projection or simulation. So in saying that, popular culture, these characters become hyperboles. They become tropes in which we see ourselves through. And that's what it is. So we identify with these characters that are on the screen. But the over resounding story is our brains can't tell the difference between what is fake and what is real. So when we see the Lannisters versus the Starks, these are like major houses in Game of Thrones, we identify with this. And so sometimes that's the type of, I'm like, Tywin Lannister, he's this dominant alpha male, and it's all of that shit. And that's what it's for. It's to make you excited enough to go back out and go to work tomorrow. Because you know why? I could be Tywin Lannister and one day I'll be this super leader. That's all it's for. It's entertainment, but we take it to the extreme. So that's what that is.
I understand. And I'm glad that you were able to break that down even further. And speaking of which, that brings me to my next question, bro. I don't know if you have heard about what's been going on the streets of YouTube concerning, and you yourself, this is a matter of public and others of that ilk. They were quarreling with other YouTubers as well. Two of them, two popular, well-known and respected YouTubers as well. Both young ladies, believe it or not, are in their early 30s. One is married, the other one is in a relationship. From the content that they have presented, they have always been advocates and in support of the melanated men. And they have been harshly critical of the toxic females concerning their behavior. Long story short, Mumia Ali, Anton Daniels, I believe, and others defended a known white supremacist who calls herself Just Pearly Things. Have you heard about that quarrel that's been going on?
I'm aware of it because you know how I feel about YouTubers anyway. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm not really even. I just got finished working with YouTube. Yeah, but please continue.
So, let me just give you a synopsis of this. But before I do, let me acknowledge Lady Marla's observation. She says, I believe that it's not capable for a potential step parent to enter a house that's not illuminated. J. Cole, what's going on, bro? Thanks for joining us here tonight. Let me collect my thoughts. Yeah. So the situation that is at hand is one sector of quote unquote black YouTube is at odds with the other. Mumia Ali, Anton Daniels, and others are throwing shade and throwing the names of Six the Goddess and Danica Marie. Those are the two young ladies that have always been advocates of melanated men and have been harshly critical of melanated women and their mistreatment. And they, bottom line, they are pro-melanated man. They believe in the melanated family structure, and they believe that those that are not on point, they got to start being on point. Otherwise, the continuing destruction of the melanated community is going to continue. I just wanted to get your thoughts on. I already know exactly how you feel about YouTubers because even you schooled me on YouTubers as well. Have you heard first? Have you even heard of Six the Goddess and Danica Marie?
I've heard of all these people. I've had, some of these people have actually called my company and asked me for certain production help. So yeah, I know of all these people. So let me say this. See, people have to understand that how competitive it is to get people's attention. So a lot of these situations you see on YouTube is that people are buying for likes. So what they do is, and some of these people will do this, and they will actually have a conversation. So let's go back a bit. I had an older gentleman on my page named Kevin Samuels years ago who came in and asked me for some production help. And we ended up getting into a conversation about Edward Bernays. Edward Bernays is the father of public relations. And I tell him, I told him, that sometimes as a public relations specialist and public relations liaison, like I am at times, you have to draw up drama. It's called, I think it's called dramatology, or a dramaturgy is what it's called, where you create drama. there. So when you have YouTubers who only get monetized if their content has, so you have to have up to 6,000 watched hours or 6 months. You got to have one of three things. You either got to have 6,000 watched hours, or you have to have 1 million subscribers, or, right? Or you have to have at least 60,000 new subscribers quarterly in order to be able to get your stuff monetized. Because if you got 1 million subscribers or have done any of that, the base minimum you can get from YouTube is $60,000. So that's for the whole year.
Wow.
So that's the thing. You have to work hard as hell to get that amount of attention towards you, because here's the thing. None of these YouTubers have what I call monetizable talent. Right? See, it's one thing to sit over here and just beef with each other, but what talent does Mumia Ali have? What talent does Curly Things have?
I'm sorry for cutting you off, bro. I wanted to answer that question by saying, from what I've heard, Just Pearly Things, she is a notorious plagiarizer who amazingly, which astonishingly, will persuade other black YouTubers to get into a deal by taking the majority of their monies and will pay them a pittance, pay them chump change. These YouTubers will literally hand over their intellectual copyrights, their intellectual properties and their copyrights for pennies. In other words, they will allow for themselves to get paid only 10% of what they actually are supposed to earn, while she gets 85 or 90% of it. Meanwhile, they get 10 or 15% of it.
Right.
And I'm sorry, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No. Here's the thing. Pearly Things comes from money. So you got to be cunning in order to be about money. So let's just cut the bullshit here. Okay, we try to sit back and act all high and mighty. Screw that. We're humans. Pearly Things came from money. She knows that people only watch her because she's white. She's white. She's come from she's a 20-some-year-old professional athlete who came from money. Somebody showed me a picture of her father's estate somewhere, and he had a 16-room house.
What?
So Pearly Things come from. I went to school with these type of people. I went to private school, places like DeMatha or whatever. I went to these places, St. Margaret of Scotland. I went to private school. My folks worked from the gutter on up for me to go to these elite private schools. So I know money when I see it. I knew it before she said anything. So the fact that she's able to come into these particular spaces and tell black men about certain things using certain particular tropes to her benefit is very telling, because for some of us, white people's water is wetter for some of us. So she used that to her benefit. What do you think happens when Nicki Minaj signs that new rapper Ice Spice? Nicki signs her to the same partnership deal, 70-30, not even a split, it's a 70-30 partnership. That means Nicki Minaj gets 70% of what Ice Spice produces. So we human beings are predatory in nature. But I'm saying all that to say this. How do you know that most of these YouTubers are not in on the same thing to create mass appeal to all of their pages?
Right.
Yeah, there was I was in a conversation between Kevin Samuels, Mumia Ali, and O'Shea the Duke Jackson. It was like a conference call or whatever, in which they had already asked me about how could they fabricate beef?
Holy sh!
How can fabricate beef? Because when you have no monetizable talent, you see, when you have no type of monetizable talent, I don't have to worry about none of these dudes because I don't think I'll ever work with them. And even if I was in their space, I wouldn't pay them any attention because I could interview celebrities where they couldn't. But they had asked me what I thought about I told them about Edward Bernays, how you fabricate beef. Read the book by Edward Bernays called Propaganda. It teaches you how to create fabricated drama.
The century of the self.
You don't, right? Yeah. Go on YouTube and type in a century of self, and that will tell you everything you need to know about public relations and staged events for people to watch. So that's why with these YouTubers, their business model is likes. So if I can sit around here and make countless videos about a so-called white supremacist YouTuber, it helps everybody. So a lot of these people, the same way they on these 9-hour podcasts with like 20 people on there, how do you know that the main people in those spaces haven't come to a conference call and had the same type of scenario that I told Kevin Samuels and them about back in 2016? How do you know?
Boy.
Let that sit around and percolate.
Oh boy.
Because all the beef that's going on could be fabricated.
You know something, bro? I don't think it is. And here's why I say this. And I'm not going off of anything that somebody told me or what, I overheard. I'm going off of what I personally have heard myself. And some of the things that I personally have heard myself came from another YouTuber named Mike TV. Shout out to you, Mike TV. He was the one that exposed Just Pearly Things, making all kinds of incendiary statements and remarks concerning our ancestors during the dark night of chattel slavery. She even went as far as to say that the British, well, we all know this is complete BS, but she actually went on and said that the British, out of the kindness of their hearts, actually ended slavery. I heard this come from her mouth on his platform when he was exposing Just Pearly Things, and she went on and said some other crazy ish. That it's on my my YouTube channel and my my Facebook profile also. I'll have to send you the link when I presented it as well. I'm gonna definitely send you the link so you can listen to it at your leisure. Now I'm not saying that it isn't. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that I don't believe at this particular point in time. And while J. Cole says that drama sells, which is true, it makes, and he's right. I really don't think this is fabricated. This online beefing, I don't think it's fabricated due to the fact of the nature as to Mumia Ali and the rest of that particular sector of quote unquote black YouTube defending Just Pearly Things, whereas you have Six the Goddess and Danica Marie, O'Shea Duke Jackson on the other end, saying that they're wrong for defending the ones that are defending Just Pearly Things. But that I may be wrong in that, but that's just me. And I'm only going off of what I heard Pearly saying. They're calling her pasty and other incendiary and disrespectful names. Chase, what's going on, bro? Thanks for joining us tonight. Go ahead, bro. What are your thoughts?
First off, there's a movie on YouTube you can go watch called, I think it's Return to Uncle Tom's Cabin, in which the overall synopsis of the story is what if a camera crew went back to slave times to make a documentary on chattel slavery? So what people have to understand is like, yes, I particularly know that I, as a seasoned entertainment production manager and producer, Pearly Things is a persona. Just put that out there right there. But on one point, she is correct in that saying that, yes, it was the British who actually said that how the other Europeans, the Italians and the French, because you got to think about how the French treated the Haitians. Like they mistreated the hell out of Haitian chattel slavery was so vicious that they basically forced these African slaves, these African slaves into cutting sugarcane. Now, if you never went to the islands and cut sugarcane, man, it's hard as hell. So those slaves only lived a couple months. Some of them at the most, maybe a year. So they had to keep on funneling in that. The slavery, chattel slavery, the transatlantic slave trade was a very, very expensive business. And contrary to popular opinion, black people had plenty of money, plenty of black slave owners that was out there. But it was the British who still had slaves who had second thoughts about like, damn, yo, like Americans, French, Portuguese, y'all mistreating the hell out of these Africans. So yes, she's right on that account. But
now that I had no idea. I didn't know she. Right. From what she was saying, I thought she was dead ass wrong. But since you went on and explained it,
yeah,
that's my fault for saying that she was wrong.
No, it's not. But see, you have more of a sense of self than a lot of these YouTubers. They're mad because they're showing their ignorance. Yes, she's a fraud. Like I mean, she's a persona. Whatever. Right. But do your fucking research. Like I'm not gonna. Sometimes a fraud is right. Sometimes a fraud is right. She's spot on with that and you learn that in private school. See, that's the difference. You're not gonna get that in a state-funded public school. You see, you learn that. They teach you how to follow the economics. Yeah, there are classes at certain HBCUs where they teach you who truly funded the transatlantic slave trade, which is the Arabs, the Dutch, and the Roman Catholic Church. And I went to Catholic schools and they taught me that. Wow. So a lot of these dudes on the internet, see, they only get, here's why people watch YouTubers. They watch them because most of them have enough confidence to come on camera and they're articulate. But most of these dudes on the damn internet are ignorant as hell. They're like, it's like they've never read a peer-reviewed book by experts in a particular field. And then what they do is they come online and just 2 months ago, they was loving Pearly Things. I call her the Wendy's mascot. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of going to McDonald's, go to Wendy's. You know?
Yo.
She reminds me of Pippi Longstocking is my sister used to love this freckle-faced redhead called Pippi Longstocking. That's what she reminds me of. The fact that this 26-year-old, she's 26 or 27 years old. The fact that people, grown-ass black men, allowed the Wendy's mascot to come in there and just tell y'all how women act when she plays a sport dominated by other women who like women. Come on, man. Y'all were crazy as hell to listen to the broad in the first place. She was goofy as shit from the first place, as far as I'm concerned. She was goofy as hell. So, yes, she was right in her point where the British were the ones that were, the British looked at themselves and said, yo, we really need to yeah, we need to get rid of this, and we also need to go ahead and start like shunning other communities into treating their slaves better. Now, which is oxymoronic at best. Treating your slaves better. That's crazy. That sounds crazy in and of itself to say, but it's just like today. It was the Republicans who were the abolitionists, not the Democrats. So it's those type of things. We need to there's a lot of black men on YouTube raised by their mothers that have female energy, and that's why they're beefing like they're beefing. So hopefully that answers your question.
Man, that was a miniaturized semester course.
Right.
You just compact it into a small synopsis in a matter of seconds. That's really what you did. And it did answer my question spot on. And I do appreciate it. Robert, what's going on, bro? Thanks for joining us tonight. Let me get to your observations before we can proceed on. I think this is Brother Sam when he says, since times are immemorial to the present, America has experienced incredible change in the family arena. Unfortunately, it is, well, in our community, it hasn't gotten any better. It's gotten progressively worse. Let me read some other observations. Brother Barron, no, hold on. Let me see. Lady Marla says divorce and remarriage have a profound effect on the parents and can have harmful effects on the future relationship of their children.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let's see. J. Cole says the first Republicans were black men. Conservatism comes from the laws and statutes from the Bible. Lady Marla says, in other words, moral individualism refers to doing what feels right rather than what seems right to an outsider.
Yep, I agree with that too.
What else?
I agree with both of those statements, actually.
Yeah. What else? What else do we have here? Yeah. Let me make sure. Oh, yeah. J. Cole says some black YouTubers really tap dance for massa.
Of course, but yeah, because they know that you gotta. White people know their whiteness. You know, I was having this conversation with a producer today about white YouTube being like, you got to look at it like this. As a social hierarchy, white people are already at the top. As far as socialists, more white people here than anybody. But what are white people on YouTube complaining about? If you're number one, what the hell are you complaining about? Think about it. Look at all these fringe, these fringe groups, these alternative lifestyle groups. They're all mainly white, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So a lot of times these black YouTubers see that a white doofus that can speak well gets 60,000 people to watch. So they will kiss ass to get some of them views over there because they know that the more views I have, hopefully the more I get monetized. Statistically speaking, they won't, but that's what they do. So I totally agree with that statement. Totally do.
It is 32 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And this is Yosef's 2 cents. I'm your man, Yosef X. And tonight, surprise, surprise, surprise. I got a good friend. Nah, he's no longer a friend. I got my good brother from another mother joining us tonight, Mr. Juan Rich.
Yeah.
One of the best intellectual juggernauts that I've ever crossed paths with. And he is schooling us once again and giving us game on the entertainment circuit, as well as giving us history lessons meshed into one. And I want to say to all of you that are listening, thank you so much for your participation on Facebook as well as YouTube. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe on the YouTube side. Like, share, and tag your family and your friends on Facebook. If you are benefiting from this podcast, please, ma'am, please, sir, feel free to donate. My Cash App ID is $Hidden One Truth. That's $Hidden One Truth. Let me ask you another question, man. And I want to tell you again, thank you so much for taking time out of your crazy ass schedule to chop it up with us, for schooling us and educating us on so many different matters.
No problem, brother. First of all, before you start, thank you for the compliment. And you're welcome. And I thank you for having me on. So please continue. Please continue. My bad.
Oh, no problem, man. No problem at all. I want to ask you, you've seen a great deal in your line of work, over 30 years of experience in show business.
Okay.
You've seen it all, heard it all, done it all. You've shaken hands and rubbed elbows with some of the greatest celebrities and entertainers in the world. Some of them are the best, and some of them are not so much. I have told my listeners and my viewers once before about these YouTubers as well as these entertainers that some of them are down to earth. You won't find of them too often that is down to earth. I've also encouraged them to stop living vicariously through them. And it's also been said that the lower IQ that an individual has, the more engrossed and the more they will keep up with these celebrities. From your experience dealing with them, share with us, is what's being said about these celebrities true? Are some of them complete douchebags, or some of them down to earth, or is the majority of entertainers douchebags and the minority of them down to earth and cool people?
I would say it's a small minority that are good people. We're talking Keanu, Aaliyah, the late Aaliyah. These are people who were the most down to earth. What you have to understand the psychographic of an artist. Like most artists that suffer from what you call the halo effect, that everything they put out, they believe that the masses is supposed to like. And sometimes they put certain things out that just goes over the intelligence of the masses. You got to understand the average intelligence of America, the average IQ is like maybe between 85 to 95. Man, what do you mean by that? We're talking the average college level intellectual quotient, which is, and people say that statistically is biased, which it is. But let's just say that if the average intelligence in our nation is lower than every nation's. We're number 32 in the world as far as intellect.
Oh, Lord.
Number 32. We're 26 in the planet as far as education. So we're not even in the top 20. So, of course, these type of people, these are the people who actually, these are the masses. You can't have no intellectual content like the old school self-destruction. Remember that video, the rap video from the 90s, 80s or whatever, self-destruction? Wouldn't nobody buy that shit, boy. Go ahead.
Nah, that's something I don't remember.
Right. Well, look it up. It has rappers from the 80s or whatever. They came together with a rap version of almost We Are the World. Or not even We Are the World, but just telling about a lot of violence going in the black community. I think a lot of that stuff came from the whole Yosef Hawkins fallout of the, them mistreating Yosef Hawkins in New York City. So that content wouldn't go over well today. Just wouldn't. Yeah, we say we want positive reinforcement, but we actually, our dollars actually help fund the debauchery. So you have to understand that these celebrities suffer from people kissing their ass 24 hours a day. They're called handlers. Mm. A lot of these people don't, when you have a talent and you dedicate yourself to the talent, something else falls by the wayside. Decorum, a sense of existentialism and connection with other people. You start drinking your own Kool-Aid. You start believing that when you fart that it don't stink. So that ends up causing bipolar 1 because there's so much dopamine coming that what tends to happen is once those people stop attending your shows and you go from selling out stadiums to now going to a dinner theater, what do you think? What do you think would happen to you if you became a YouTuber that has 1 million subscribers and then the next day you can't even get 5,000 people to watch? How do you think you would feel? Because that's the thing. Show business is like you're the food getting eaten by the dog that goes through the whole bowel tract of the dog and get defecated on the other side, and then that defecation tries to actually get back into the dog. That's what happens to your artists. So it's no wonder a lot of these artists are crazy as hell, because now the only way they feel whole is that people have to love them by the millions. That's what happened to Britney Spears, Kanye West. The list goes, Marilyn Monroe, the list goes on and on, bro. Goes on and on.
Sheesh. Now, I want to say right quick, but before I do, let me acknowledge J. Cole's observation. He said, I met black celebrities and white celebrities at work. The black ones will straight up ignore you, and the white ones will have a conversation with you for a couple of minutes. Speaking from experience. You know something?
He's right.
You know,
right.
I gotta say right quick. It's unfortunate that you had that experience with black celebrities, but I tell you a celebrity that I met at Rite Aid one day, Lorenz Tate. Mm-hmm. That dude is one of the most down-to-earth cats I have ever met. At first, I didn't recognize who he was, but he was the one that played in the Frankie Lyman story. Yeah. Lorenz Tate, that cat is so down to earth, bro. That is a cool ass dude. He is cool as a fan. For real, for real. And I got to tell you, J. Cole, I'm not saying that all black celebrities are like Lorenz Tate, but, and I'm sorry you went through it. You know what? When I find that black folk, quote unquote, black folk, have issues with other black folk, especially in that situation, I don't know why the first thought that comes to my mind is they're Negro kids. They're white on the inside, black on the outside. They're Oreos. I don't know why the hell that comes to my. Go ahead, bro. Why the hell that comes to my head?
I mean, it depends on what celebrity you come across. Like, yeah, it depends on what celebrity you come across. I don't believe in broad stroking. Yes, are the majority. I've met plenty of black celebrities, and I'm telling you like this. I have very rarely met white celebrities who have just been a complete douche to me. I've sat down, talked to Phil Collins. I've sat down and talked to Keanu. You know, chilled and kicked it with Scarlett Johansson. Like, but have gotten the nose turned up by Maya. And I'm like, nigga, you went to Bowie High School with my cousin. What are you talking about? So, yes. And then you have people like Lorenz Tate and Alfonso Ribeiro, or Elise Neal, Regina Hall, like that are mad chill. So I guess it sort of depends. And then a lot of that comes down to genetics again.
Yeah.
Like some of these people come from douchebag genetics, and some of them don't.
Right.
Because I'm sorry, like the most chill celebrity I have ever met was Keanu Reeves. Like I am a fan of Keanu Reeves because that dude that's John Wick. That's Neo. And if Neo and John Wick, two of the baddest MFers and sci-fi and comic book and whatever action history, can sit down and have a 2-hour conversation about anything, yeah, you can't really compete with Keanu. So, yes, some of us are actually jackasses. So, but you gotta understand, like, you gotta be a jackass to be great in show business. You gotta be a douche. And those who can turn it off and be a douche on screen without being a douche off screen, that's the Keanu Reeves, that's the Regina Halls of the world. That's those people. But your Aretha Franklin's, you know, very similar. You're gonna meet a Patti LaBelle, but Aretha Franklin, Anita Baker, you know, Regina, like those type of people are assholes.
Damn.
And I guess it goes sort of. I guess that's why I said don't meet your heroes. So that do not meet your heroes because you're gonna be disappointed. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, when he was a wizard, oh my God. He was, to me and a lot of other people, I'm a basketball head, bro. And I can really hoop.
I believe.
He was a yeah. Thank you, sir. He was a demigod. But that dude was a jackass. And then, here's what really gets it. Did you know that Michael Jordan is definitely afraid to approach a female and talk? When you can see him, yeah, I go to the basketball court, you know, I'm a slam dunk, and yeah, I just go into whatever. Man, when that dude starts talking to women, get your number. He sound like the stuttering dude from Harlem Nights.
No.
Out there. And I'm like, damn, dog, that's MJ.
Michael Jordan?
That's Michael.
No, man. What?
Michael Jordan has social anxiety when it comes to women, bro.
You gotta be. Wow. Oh, man.
Social anxiety.
Oh,
social anxiety.
What?
Bro. Bro, when I found that out, I was like, that's when Kobe became. If Mike is my 1A on the basketball court, Kobe became my 1B. Because Kobe was sort of cocky until he got involved with that little chick in Colorado. Because in the 90s, I got a chance to hoop with Kobe, Baron Davis, and Shea Cotton.
Yeah,
a lot of these other
you told me that you had a chance to play with Kobe, and you say Kobe was just absolutely different. He was just relentless.
Dude, I've never met somebody who just hated you as an opponent but shook your hand off it. Like if he respected your work ethic, then he respected you. But MJ, I'm like, he was a god by then. That when it got to the old Wizards, and I'm like, that's Michael Jordan. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, that's what I tell dudes. Like, y'all are emulating the very same people who have the same social anxiety disorders that you have. But here's the thing, too. How a lot of these celebrities get over that, they take this thing called propanol. Propanol actually helps with social anxiety disorder. So you and I are talking right now. Do you know some people are scared shitless to talk anything? They're so that's what the shyness is. But propanol actually cuts that shyness off. And so that's how people like MJ and other people got over their social anxiety with women, because they took a drug to do it. And I'm not saying that, I don't know if Mike did that, but I know some celebrities. When I see Michael talking to a woman now compared to what he was, and he was 40 years old, he had to be taking something to make that jump. Because if you were stuttering here in Washington, D.C. with a young lady, and now you're sitting around here talking to him straight up, most celebrities have access to propanol.
Sheesh.
Like there's some people who have plenty of talent, but they have severe stage fright. If you take propanol, you feel no stage fright. You don't feel it at all. And it lasts for 5 to 6 hours. So if you got a show at 7:30, you take that propanol at like 6:30 or 5:30 to 6:30. By the time you get on stage, you don't feel nothing.
Wow.
And so that's the difference between them people and you, is you got the same talent, you just got stage fright. And you don't have the drugs to get through it. So hopefully that answers your question.
It certainly does. Good Lord, man. Shoot. I'm speechless. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, who many have considered the GOAT of basketball, with social anxiety?
Bro.
Whoa.
Google John Sally. John Sally had said something to the equivalent I heard about Michael. Like Michael, it wasn't the girls. Like Mike wasn't good with the girls. We were. It was the Scottie Pippens and the John Sallys and the Dennis Rodmans, who suffered from social anxiety disorder himself, that were good with the women.
Wow.
Look at Michael Jordan's first wife compared to the wife he has now. You look at Juanita Jordan, she looks like the average chick that works at freaking Merrill Lynch. How did MJ go from Merrill Lynch to now dating a Shakira lookalike? Think about that.
It makes a lot of sense, bro.
I'm trying to tell you, brother.
I see your point, man. I see it. I see your point. I see it now. Yeah.
Look at it. Like, see the correlations. And you also got to look at it like this. When you want to be great, something atrophies, and typically it's your social skills that atrophy. If you want to be like MJ, you can't be out here hollering at hoes. You can't be. You want to be you. You want to be him. You want to be Magic Johnson. You want to be Larry Bird. And you got upstarts like Kobe coming behind you. You got to be 1,000,000% dedicated in your craft. And hollering at hoes is not what you're not. That's going to atrophy. So they hire people like me. Hey Juan, there's this Instagram model. Can you holler at her for me? What you need me to say? Like, okay, cool. What you want to find out? And that's how that works. They don't know how to holler at these women. They get people like me to talk to them for them.
Wow. Listen, y'all are hearing this firsthand. You're hearing this firsthand. You're hearing it from the man himself. This is one of the reasons why this is my brother from another mother. Do you understand how much knowledge that he has presented with us tonight? You're not going to find any kind of information and education like this nowhere else. Now watch, my podcast is going to go viral. It is. I'm calling it. I'm confident and I'm brave enough to say this podcast is going to go viral. Especially this episode, yeah, it's going to go viral. It is. And if I'm wrong, guess what? You Negroes are going to be talking about it, and some of you white folk are going to be talking about it for a long time. Good Lord.
Well, here's what they're going to do. Yeah, you're right. It might go viral, but here's what they're going to do. They're just going to steal from it, and they're not going to give you the credit. So.
Yeah, that ish has happened to me before. It has. It's happened before from one of these YouTube grifters. Yeah, that's happened before. But eventually I'm going to get all my ish copyrighted.
As you should.
Definitely. All right. We are down to the final few minutes of our podcast. Let's see who else has just joined us here. Brother James, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Peace and blessings be upon you. J. Cole says, who is this? Chameleonaire. Is that what he is? Chameleonaire talked about how rude Michael Jordan is, and he's a famous rapper. He asked for an autobiography and told him to F off at his birthday party. That is crazy.
Yeah, he did. Chameleonaire asked for autographs and he hollered at Mike. He told him go fuck himself.
Man, that is mad disrespectful, bro.
That
is mad disrespectful.
It's why I refuse. I give MJ all his credit, but Kobe is my guy. MJ used to be my dude, but Kobe, yes, Kobe's father played basketball, but Kobe he's the epitome of dedicated to his craft to me. MJ was a douchebag. He was a douchebag to everybody else, but when it came to women, and that's another thing, bro. Like, the biggest thing a man has to conquer is how to deal with women. And if the guy that's famous cannot deal with women, or he has a collection of bad choices that compound, and don't pay that nigga no mind. Don't pay that person any mind. Yeah, you can emulate their work ethic and their craftsmanship, but to emulate their lifestyles, hell no. I'll give them money to watch them on stage, but I'm not chilling with no goddamn celebrity off working hours. Hell no. Look, your average celebrity only goes out when there's an event. Half the time they're in the house. They're not doing anything. They're in the house smoking weed, getting twisted.
Sheesh.
You're at the club. They can't even go to the club. So where they gonna go? Other celebrities' house. And when they get to the other celebrities' house, peep this. Google Madonna and Floyd Mayweather sitting on the couch. Like, they throw parties at each other's homes and they sit there, and then they just sit there. They don't even talk to each other. They just sit there. And y'all want to be these people? I mean, they have crazy talent. Some of them have crazy talent. But to emulate them, as the late, great Emma Rich used to say, nigga, please.
Oh, God. Yo. Oh, boy. Let me get a chance to acknowledge your observations. Marcus, what's going on, bro? Thanks for joining us on the YouTube side. He says salute, and MJ, he says MJ was very cheap. Good Lord. Good Lord. On the Facebook side, J. Cole says he met I met Beyonce's mother. She's really a nice person, says J. Cole. Lady Marla says, I met BB Winans at a church affair and he was nice. Yeah, every now and then you will meet some celebrities that's mad chill, like Brother Juan said. You know, and there's another celebrity that I also had a chance of. As a matter of fact, I used to talk to him on the phone ever so often. I met him through my father. That is the late, great Reverend Dr. Wyatt T. Walker, one of the nicest men and one of the most chill ministers I have ever ran across. Down to earth, chill. And every time he and my dad would chop it up for a few minutes, the second question after Dr. Walker asked my dad how he was doing, Dr. Walker would ask my dad by calling me, how's young Leon? That was my father's name, Leon. So Dr. Walker would ask my dad, how's young Leon doing? One of the nicest men and one of the most brilliant. I got some of his writings right now, some of his writings and some of his sermons too. And listen, by me being a member of the Fraternal Order of Clergymen, I have to tell you that when the time comes for me to represent Dr. Walker's sermon, I will not take credit for it because ecclesiastical fraternal order protocol tells me, yes, Dr. Walker gets all the credit, but in terms of me making it more contemporary and modern, that goes to me due to my experience of my humanistical sojourn. How do you like that for you intellectual pseudos? Let me say this right quick, and after I say this, I'm gonna let you have the final say so tonight, bro. Let me say this: we've covered a lot of ground tonight. We really did. We talked about genetics when it comes down to celebrities, non-celebrities, and our families. We talked about proclivities, the whole shebang, the whole nine. We had a chance to talk briefly about this recent YouTube beef between Obsidian, Mumia Ali, whatever this cat calls himself, Anton Daniels, and others of them. And then on the other hand, you have the Nika Marie, by the way, who's married, Six the Goddess, who is in a relationship, and O'Shea Duke Jackson. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know any of these people from Adam's House Cat. I never shook hands with them. I never rubbed elbows with them a day in my life. But what I will say is this. It has taught me, or rather it has reminded me of some very important, valuable lessons. A lot of these YouTubers are starting to be exposed. Countless of them. And the ones that are now being exposed reminds me as to how important it has always been for me to not only be honest, first and foremost, with my creator, the Most High Yahuwah, but I also had to be honest with myself, as well as you who listens to me. You all already know that my name ain't really Yosef Isaiah Benjamin. That's my Hebrew given name. You understand? My government given name, you already know what my government given name is. It's Joseph Horn. I told y'all from the outset, the internet is fake. You can be anything you want to be on this damn platform. You can. But I also understand that there is a science to using this. You can use it for business purposes and to meet awesome people, or you can use it for shenanigans. While it's true that I am a licensed and an ordained minister, in this line of work right now, I'm not a minister. I'm an entertainer. Will I sell my soul and compromise my principles so that I can get ahead? Hell no. Because I got too much respect for myself. No, first, I got too much I have too much respect for my creator, myself, and you to put on some facade. Let's be real. I love podcasting. I love talking. I love chopping it up. But this ain't for the weak. This ain't for the weak at heart. I was listening to a commentary earlier today when Danica, Marie, and Six the Goddess, shout out to them, they were on together last night. And I heard this from Six the Goddess herself. She actually had her life threatened. You understand me? She had her life threatened. You feel me? Because of her stance and her views that the melanated man should be with the melanated woman. She actually said that some racist piece of trash inboxed her and threatened her. She's been threatened to be killed. She's been threatened to be raped. Do you understand why I advocate self-defense? Not just for men, but for women also. This is the reason why. You got some loony bins out here. You got some cats on social media that are absolutely unstable, the men and the women. This is the reason why listen, money is important. It's an important too, absolutely. But there are certain lines I ain't crossing. There are certain principles that I ain't compromising. I'm not doing that. Yes, I've made my mistakes. Yes, I am a flawed human being. But if there's one damn thing that you know for a fact that I'm not going to ever do, I ain't going to cross the line and sell out people just so I can get ahead. I believe in earning my keep. And if more people thought like me, this world would be a hell of a better place than it is. But unfortunately, that ain't the case. Mm-hmm. And if you are a woman and you're thinking about being a podcaster, both Six the Goddess and Danica Marie, both melanated young women, said don't do it, because you're going to have men that's going to be flashing themselves in front of you just like they did last night. You had some weirdo flashing them and they were making fun of him, talking about his Johnson and how gummy and how small it was. And then if you are going to be a man, then you need to be careful as well. Not just the women, but the men need to be careful also. Because you're going to have niggas that's going to be jealous of you, inboxing you or calling your girlfriend's sister on Messenger and asking the question, why he got to be wearing suits? Nigga, because I can. Because I look good in them. And then you going to call my girlfriend's sister and ask the question, why am I wearing suits in front of your girl? Miss me with that BS, bruh. That's that feminine energy. You probably were raised by a single mother, my nigga. And then instead of you inboxing me and telling me where I went wrong, you gonna try and sabotage my relationship? Bruh. And then you a 50-year-old nigga at that. Dysfunction knows no boundaries. It knows no age. This is the reason why I'm so protective of my girlfriend. I ain't ashamed of her. I know how you bastards are. You know who you bastards are. I got to protect my girlfriend from pieces of shit like you. It is not that I'm ashamed of her. I'm not. But I also know how sick and how twisted and insane people are. They will hurt her by hurting me and other members of my family. Should I make mention of my girlfriend more? Yes, I should. I'm not ashamed of her. I never have been. But here's the deal. If you got beef with me, you talk it up with me. Don't come after my family. Don't go after my girlfriend. Don't go after my friends. You got beef with me, you talk to me man to man, straight up. And when you come at me, you be respectful. I'm not above correction. I'm not above reproach. You can talk to me. But when you come to me, you better come correct. Because if you don't, my damn near 40-year-old ass is going to put my size 13 up your ass for your disrespect. And I'm not fucking playing. I mean that shit. I get so sick and tired of niggas, lowlives that don't have nothing else to do, calling themselves going to come for me. Then you're going to call yourself going to come at my girlfriend. Then you're going to call yourself going to come at my homeboy and the rest of my circle that I have. No. Like I said, you got beef with me. You inbox me. You find me. Don't go around here trying to sabotage my relationship. Don't come around here talking all this yin yang. You got beef with me. Let's handle it like men. Do not think for a moment that I'm a pushover. I will fuck you up. And if you die, it won't be because I'm a cold-blooded killer, my nigga. It's because you fucking provoked me. You start the shit and I will end it. I mean that shit. I'm sorry I had to say that, bro, but sometimes it's fucking necessary. You got any final thoughts that you want to say, bro? The floor is yours, bro.
Well, let me say this. That type of vitriol comes with the territory. You know, what you have to do is, I'll say this. There is a certain supplement called passion flower extract that does the same thing as propanol. And if you're going to be on any type of forum or podcast or anything else or whatever, and you have the genetic disposition to be easily triggered in certain things or whatever, because here's the thing, it's not natural. Being on the internet is not natural at all. So sometimes you need some people need propanol in order to not pay attention to these goddamn fools on the internet, because the internet attracts people who live in the outskirts of society. And a lot of us assume that these are normal people. And some of these people are the dregs of society. And so when they come on there and they say some hurtful things to certain people, you know, we don't realize that these people grow up in particular household situations where dysfunction is normal. So they get off to trying to threaten people. The reality of it is, and I'm going to be honest with you, these fuckers are harmless. And you're like, Juan, how can you say that? Because they get off to messing with people that's trying to do something positive. If you were really about doing your thing, you wouldn't be threatening people through no goddamn internet or sending dick pics through any type of form, because you realize that, man, once you put this shit on the internet, it stays on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So these are the nothings Jerry Lewis in one of the movies called them stale ones. These are the stale ones. These are the people. Oh yeah, brother Yosef is on. Let me say some hurtful shit to him. Let me go ahead. Oh, who? This young lady's constantly saying nice things about him. Maybe that's his girlfriend. Let me do this. These are losers, bro. Losers. Tell her, everyone, look, report them niggas. Report whoever they are. Go ahead, do whatever you got to do. And I'm an advocate for self-defense. Certain people shouldn't. You shouldn't be out here trusting people you don't know. Don't be doing that. Somebody comes upon you, you got to make sure that you go ahead and protect yourself. Keep your distance. Don't look like a victim. Don't be a victim. Because most low-level criminals seek victims. So that's all I'll say about that. At the end, to overall summarize everything we said, look, YouTube is for entertainment, yo. That's what it is. And these people are using this, the dramaturgy to get you riled up. Take it for what you take it for. Let it be what it's going to be. And then pay that shit no mind, because none of these losers are going to do a goddamn thing. When's the last time you seen another YouTuber shoot another YouTuber? I'll wait. Right. Most of these people are just nerds in the basement. They haven't washed their ass in a couple of days, and they get off to pissing people off. These people, to acknowledge them, you're giving them too much credence by acknowledging their existence. The fact that they have nothing better to do than to threaten your girlfriend or yourself via the internet. I pay those losers. They mad because they were born. So pay them fuckers no mind. That's all I got to say on that, bro.
Man, you reminded me of that line by Val Kilmer's character Doc Holliday about Johnny Ringo. He wants revenge for being born.
Yep.
So these motherfuckers are really that heartbroken, and they are so miserable in their own lives. They want revenge for being born.
Yes.
That's a miserable ass existence, boy. That is.
Right, but dude, let them. Who cares if they exist in the first place? You see what I'm saying? I don't give a damn. They can't say nothing to me. Look, my resume tells me they can't say shit to me. And I'm nobody. So you can't say a damn thing to Mr. Rich. Because I worked at YouTube last week, and I'm working with the VP next week. So they gonna kiss my ass.
Oh boy. All right. Let me read your final observation so we can get on out of here, because my ass has got to get to work in the morning. Brother Marcus Allen says, that's beta as hell. What the hell? Yeah, bro. Listen. The shit I haven't gone through any of this podcasting sojourn unscathed. I've survived everything from a beta 50-year-old nigga trying to sabotage my relationship. Now, albeit I gave him the ammunition, but instead of him coming to me and pointing out my mistakes, he gonna act like a 50-year-old pussy ass nigga trying to sabotage my relationship. Then on top of that, then another dude inboxed or called my girlfriend's sister by way of messenger in front of his girlfriend, asking about me. Why do I wear the suits that I wear and the jewelry that I wear? Yeah, that is beta, man. It is. No doubt about it. It is. J. Cole says, what kind of man asks what another man's wearing to another man's woman in front of his girlfriend? There's too much soy in the food. Brother James says, yeah, there's too much soy in the food. Brother James, good to see you, bro. He says, folks like that are jealous cowards. Watch them snakes from a distance. Yeah. He continues, them are Nephilim beings. Laugh out loud. J. Cole says, social media is a great tool to create a business and a wonderful life. But many people take the easy way and sell themselves for fame on social media. Exactly. James says, Dante Fortson on YouTube said that the Pharaoh in power during the time of Moses was a dwarf and was the Nephrophilia. There's a lot of stuff I've been hearing about lately. Let's see. Anything else we got going on? Any other observations? All right. Anything else y'all got to say? Say it now. Forever hold your peace. Because I got to get up in the morning. And y'all got to get up in the morning too. All right, going once, going twice. All right, that's it. Anything else you want to add, bro, before we get out of here?
Dude, that was good, bro. Dude, I appreciate being on, brother. I appreciate everything. I appreciate them listening too.
Hey, shout out to all of y'all for listening, man. I appreciate it. Brother Barron says thank you to your guests. J. Cole says best podcast ever. Appreciate it, bro. Brother James says dinosaurs are of the Nephrophilian. Lady Marla says awesome podcast. Thank y'all. And especially to you, my friend, my brother. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for accepting the invitation to come on, bro.
Yeah, dude, no problem. Dude, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on, brother. Thank you. And you guys have a good one.
You too, man, and we'll be in touch.
Okay, brother, I'll holler at you.
All right, man. All right, y'all. That's been our 2 cents. It's been a ball, but the clock on the wall says that's all for now. Once again, thank y'all so much for listening. I appreciate it. I hope y'all were educated, enlightened, and illuminated. Peace and blessings be upon y'all. Until next time, I'm Yosef X. That's my 2 cents. Peace. I'm out.